dear students and friends. Today we are going to start with a new chapter, chapter number 9. It is biomolecule. So what is first a biomolecule? The name itself suggests the molecules or the chemicals that found into a living system, that is called as a biomolecule. Or more specifically you can say that the carbon containing compounds that you can find into a living organism, that is called as biomolecules. You know that surrounding to us the different variety of living organism exist, like animals, plants, microorganism and many more. Even in animal the different types of animal exist. Similarly in a plant the different types of a plant exist. Do they contain the same type of a chemical in them? We have to analyze it. We have to ask a question to us. The chemical that is present in all these living organisms are same. So moreover, the basic component that is present in any living organism is mostly similar. Then we try to analyze that the compounds or the chemicals that found into a non-living substances or non-living thing like earth crust or soil, is it the same? So the compound that you can find into a living organism and the compound or the chemicals that you can find in the earth crust, that is mostly similar. Clear? But the difference is that the compound that you can find into a living organism, in that the ratio of carbon and hydrogen is much more higher compared to a non-living components or the non-living thing like earth crust. So this is the chemical compounds that can be found into our surrounding, whether it is a non-living thing and the living thing. Here we have to focus on the compounds that you can find into a living organism, and that what we are calling it as biomolecules. Usually compounds that you can find into a living organism can be categorized into two types. There are the two categories of a compound usually find into a living organism. The first category is called as organic compounds, and the second category of a compound that you can find in a living organism are inorganic compounds. Two variety of biomolecules you can find in a living system, organic and the inorganic compounds. Which are the usual organic compounds you can find in a living organism? So this category of compounds that you can find in a living organism, and these all are organic. The first category is carbohydrate. Second one is protein. Third one you can call it as lipid, which can also be called as fat, or it can also be called as oil. Okay, then it's nucleic acid. Then the another category you can find is vitamins. Then you can find the another category, what we call it as enzymes, and even you can also find the hormones. So these are the compounds that you can find in a living organism, which are of category called as organic compounds. So which organic compounds can found in a living organism? They are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, vitamins, enzymes and the hormones. Such category of a compound that can be found into a living organism. As an inorganic molecule, the compound that can be found in a living organism, the major one is water. Water is the most abundant inorganic component that you can find into a living organism. Apart from water, it also contains minerals or mineral elements and the mineral salts. They are present. So they are the inorganic component you can find into a living organism. Okay? But you know that we have a diverse structure. The amount of organic and the inorganic molecule that is found in our living system also going to be varied. That is also vary from person to a person, and it is also vary from species to a species. So the quantity of this organic and inorganic molecule that vary from a different living organism to a different living organism. So that happens. So here we have to learn that how we can analyze or how we can come to know that which kind of inorganic and the organic compounds you can find in a living system. Okay, so I hope so before I start that how to analyze the compound that is present in a living tissue, you are clear that which are the organic and inorganic compounds that can be found into a living system. So now here I am describing the method to evaluation of organic compounds. Okay, so here it's a method for detection of organic compounds. Okay, how you will analyze that which organic compound is present in the living organism. So let's discuss what is a method you should adopt it to find it out which organic compound you can find into the living system. The first thing is that you have to take the living tissues. Okay, what you have to take the living tissue? The living tissue may be, you can say a simple one. You can also take a leaf even from plant, or you can also say you can take any tissue, like you can also take the liver of an animal. Anything, any living tissue you can take it. Okay, to this living tissue you have to add trichloro acetic acid. What do you have to add? Trichloroacetic acid. Okay, that you have to add. So first step in a determination of organic compounds that you can find in a living system or any living organism, you have to take any living tissue, which may be any leaf or stem or liver or stomach or any living tissue of plant or animal or any microorganism. You have to mix it with trichloroacetic acid, ClCOOH. Okay, so you have to triturate it. Okay, that means you have to mix it. When you triturate it, when you mix it thoroughly, you will get a thick slurry. What you get? You will get a thick slurry is going to be obtained. Now this thick slurry is going to be filtered out through a funnel. Like this is a funnel. You have to filter it out. As a filter paper, this is a filter paper, what I am marking it out. Okay, you can use a cheesecloth, or you can also use a cotton cloth to filter it out. Okay, when you pour it through this funnel, when you filter it out through this funnel, you will get two portions. First, which is come out through a funnel. Okay, and this portion which is come out through a funnel, that's called as filtrate. Okay, and the portion which remains at the above, which is not come out or that is remain, like this is a portion which remains above it, and this is called as retentate. What it can also be called as retentate. So when you pour or filter it out, when you pour this thick slurry, you will obtain the two components, filtrate and the retentate. The filtrate which is come out and the retentate that remains above the funnel. Okay, here the filter paper we are using, it is cheesecloth or the cotton cloth through which we are filtering out. The filtrate what we are obtaining can also be called as the filtrate. It's called as acid soluble fraction. Okay, what it can also be called as acid soluble fraction, and the retentate can also be called as acid insoluble fraction. Okay, you can call it as acid insoluble. Remember, two portions you can get, the filtrate and retentate. The filtrate is acid soluble fraction and the retentate is acid insoluble fraction. The compound that is present in acid soluble fractions are organic compounds that needs to be separated, and then it is going to be analyzed. Once it is separated, after a separation you can also do a purification of that one. So that filtrate is subjected to a separation. So the different compounds are going to be separated. Once separated, then they are going to be purified, and once it is purified, they are analyzed by different machines, and then you can find such type of organic compounds into them. So which kind of organic compounds that you can find? That is proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, vitamins, enzymes, and carbohydrates and hormones. Such type of organic compound you can find by this way. So this procedure can be utilized for determination of organic compounds in a living tissue. Clear? Similarly, the inorganic compounds can also be determined. So here we are discussing the methods for evaluation of inorganic compounds. Methods for detection of inorganic compounds. Clear? How you can detect or how you can evaluate the inorganic compound. This is about the organic compound. Now here we are discussing what the method that we can adopt for determination or detection of an inorganic compound. So here the method which is going to be adopted, first you have to take the living tissue. Okay, similar to this experiment, the living tissue may be anyone. It may be a leaf, or it may be a liver, or it may be any other living tissue. Okay, then this living tissue has to be weighed. Okay, so the weigh it. Okay, the after weighing, the weight which is going to be obtained, this is called as weight. What it can be called as weight. Okay, then after weighing, it is subjected to a drying. Okay, when it is sufficiently dried, all the content that is going to be evaporated, you again weigh it. And the weight which is going to be obtained, that's called as a dry weight. Okay, this is called as a dry weight. Okay, so first I can repeat what is the step. You have to take any living tissue in which you want to determine which inorganic compounds are present. You have to take these tissues, then you have to weigh it. The weight which is obtained initially, it's called as wet weight. Second, after that you have to dry it. The weight after drying that is going to be obtained, that's called as dry weight. Okay. Now, if you minus the dry weight from wet weight, you will obtain the quantity of the water that is going to be evaporated. And thus you can find that how much quantity of water that is present in it. And the water is one of the inorganic component that you can find. Okay. But apart from that, you also want to determine the minerals that are present in it. So how will you determine? Once it is dry, that is going to be burned. Okay, the complete burning is going to be allowed. Okay, so next process is burn it. When you burn it, the carbon compound that is present in it or the organic compound that are present in it, it gets evaporated in the form of CO2 and H2O. Okay, that's water. Water means water vapor. Okay, H2O vapor. The other compounds, when you burn it, the other organic compounds that are present in it, that gets evaporated in the form of CO2 and H2O. Okay, or water vapor. After that, you will get the ash. This ash is going to be analyzed. It is going to be analyzed for the minerals which are present in it, like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, etc. So this is a method for evaluation or detection of inorganic compounds that are present in it. Okay, so here I am repeating again the methods, and then in the next session we will discuss what are the different types of organic and the inorganic compounds that are present in detail. Okay, so here I again repeat what is called as a biomolecule. The biomolecule means the molecules you can find into a living organism, they are called as biomolecule. Two types of a biomolecule are there, organic and inorganic. Organic, that usually the carbon containing compounds that are present in a living organism, like for example carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, vitamins, enzymes, hormones, they are the organic compound present in living organism. Similarly, the inorganic compound you can find in a living organism are the water and the minerals. Okay, how we can analyze which compound is present in living tissue? So here it's a method for detection of organic compound, and that is a method for detection of an inorganic compound. Let us first discuss the method for detection of organic compound. First you have to take the living tissue, you have to mix it with trichloroacetic acid in a water pestle, when you triturate it, mix it very well, you will obtain a thick slurry. That thick slurry is filtered out through a cheesecloth or cotton cloth. When you filter it out or when you pour through a funnel, you will obtain a two portion. One is filtrate, which is settled down, and second one is a retentate that remains above the funnel. The retentate can also be called as acid insoluble fraction. Filtrate is called as acid soluble fraction. This filtrate or acid soluble fraction is subjected to a separation, so the different compounds that are dissolved in it gets separated out. Once separated, then it's going to be purified. After purification, it is analyzed by different machines that which organic compounds are present in it. Okay, so that is a method for detection of organic compounds in a living tissue. Similarly, it's a method for detection of inorganic compound present in living tissue. So how you can analyze? First, you have to take the living tissue like leaf, liver, etc. You have to weigh. The weight that is obtained is called as weight. Then you have to allow it to complete dry. That means you go for drying. After drying, you again weight it. But here, after drying, the weight that is obtained is called as dry weight. Okay. If you minus the dry weight from a weight, you will come to know that how much water gets evaporated. Okay, and thus you can find out the quantity of water that is present in it. After that, you are allowed to burn it. You have to burn it. When it is completely burned, so what happens during a burning? The organic compounds, that is a carbon containing compound that is present in it, that gets burned out and that is evaporated in the form of CO2, carbon dioxide, and the H2O vapor. That means water vapor. The remaining thing, after burning, the remaining thing is a ash. That ash is going to be analyzed for the inorganic content present in it, like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. So this is a method for detection of inorganic compounds in a living organism. Okay, so that's all about it. In next session, we will discuss a different biomolecules you can find into the living organisms, like amino acids, lipids, or nucleic acids. We will discuss its chemistry in the next session. Till then, students, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.